welcome. We're live. We're live. And we are live. I see it. I see it. It's working. All right. It always takes a few seconds of delay, so I have to go through and hit a few different things. But welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversations with me, Stacey Harder, and my amazing mother. And if you are joining us, thank you. I hope you are amazing. This is meant to bring us all together, let you know you are not alone. And if you have any kind of questions, this is an amazing place because Mom is my go-to for everything. So, Heather, would you like to take it over?
Okay, I will do that. And again, based on the contacts that have been made in the last few days, there's a lot of people going through various levels of trauma because of what's going on the planet. So I remind you that there's lots of things happening at lots of different levels. Don't get vested in any level or any layer. Just be in trust that divine plan is unfolding perfectly. We've been told many, many things that will happen during this end of time, not end of existence, but just end of time. And time is an artificial constraint that has been placed on us by hopefully well-intentioned people of our history. And as we move into the now in a supersonic level, time doesn't work anymore. So when the Bible talks about end times, it's not the end of creation, it is the end of time. We will not be able to measure, talk about, or look at time when we can bounce from one time format to another, and we can go forward and backward in time, and we can do instant time travel. So it's really important that you recognize these are very significant times. It is not the end of creation. It is about the end of many of our constraints. But sometimes to get rid of constraints, you have to become painfully aware they exist. So we certainly are entering into a very, very important, significant period of time, which the light workers came here to address. None of this is by surprise. None of this is about being caught off guard. It's all very intentional. If you get into a place where you're just absolutely tormented, please feel free to email me or text me, and I will do my best to walk you through a little trauma release. And we're going to play with that a little bit tonight, because I know everybody's sort of in that space of holding their breath. What's happening next? And nobody knows. I mean, it's not something that can be shared or predicted, because the energy hasn't coalesced into it yet. Every day, collectively, we create the next moment, the next day, the next experience. So we are formulating that. So the more we can be into that intention, the better off we're all going to be. For those people who are new to the call, we sort of had an agenda. We first call in trust, truth, protection, and guidance. And we do that in order to sort of set the pattern in place that we can have anything we ask for, but you have to ask for it. And so oftentimes we forget to ask. And this is a time where there's lots and lots of deception. The Bible talks about a time where even God's most elite will be fooled. And we are God's most elite. Amazing. If you never thought of it that way, you are. So recognize that we have to be not fooled by well-meaning or intentional misinformation or any of the other things that are coming our way. And we do that best by asking to know truth, asking to recognize truth, asking to have the courage to act on our truth. And our truth is going to come internally, not from some set of instructions that somebody is giving us from some external source. We are all being asked to step into our leadership, step into our power, step into our divine guidance. You may go, well, what the hell do I know to do? I don't know, but we are all being asked to follow that internal guidance. So when you get this urge to do something, do it. Don't hesitate. Don't question it. Don't ask why. Don't say it doesn't make sense. 90% of what the spiritual work that's going on the planet right now doesn't make sense in the rational, old three-dimensional model, but you can be sure it's very powerful in the new model. So, truth, protection, and protection just allows any non-needed distraction to be kept away. If anyone or anything is trying to get you out of your power, out of your purpose, then you'll just be protected from it. And then guidance is just sort of our GPS system. It's easy to get in the car, plug in the address, and let the GPS take us where we need to go. And our divine guidance is sort of the same process. We don't have to know how, when, where, how. We just need to ask for it and trust it, and then follow it along. In fact, interesting story, in my book, Perfect Power and Consciousness, I talk up, cue the book, Stacy. Perfect Power and Consciousness. Woo-hoo.
Da, 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 da. The Seeking Truth Through the Subconscious and Superconscious Mind by Dr. Heather Harder.
Thank you. Okay, that's good. Anyway, in there, I talk about a friend of mine, Willie, and another person was reading my book, and she later told me the story, but she was reading the book and she got this strong knowing that she said, you don't need to read that book. You know, you just have to listen. You don't need to read the book. And so she set the book down and it said, go north. And this inner guidance, it wasn't a voice, it was just this inner knowing, go north. And so she went north, and then it told her to go this or go that. And until she's finally at this house that she doesn't have any idea who lives there. And when she's in the driveway, it said, this is Willie's house. And she knocked on the door and said, I know Heather. And so that started the conversation. But this inner guidance wanted to show her that she didn't need the book for information. She just needed to listen and heed it. And that's true for everybody. And then when she got home, the book was disappeared and it never showed up again. So recognize you don't need my books or any books. You don't need in a class. You don't need instruction. You don't need whatever is external from you. You only need to listen and heed that inner knowing. Now, there are groups on Thursday night is spiritual, on Sunday night is political. Those groups are designed to give you more confidence in listening to yourself, give you more skills and tools to hear yourself better, that team that you have working for you. But it certainly isn't meant to replace your own inner wisdom. So now we've completed that. I do have little affirmations I've written, and if you want a copy, feel free to email me at heather@heatherharder.com. But it's not about the words, the verbiage, or the perfection of some phrase. It's just about asking protection, guidance, and truth, and you got it done. And again, if you have anything you want to say when you're in the online group, you can put it in the chat. Stacy's monitoring that, and we'll share any comments or questions as they come up. I was told someone was very offended by me calling you the peanut gallery, and so I won't call our external friends the peanut gallery, although it seemed appropriate because of the peanut gallery, you're sitting way far away in the remote seats, and so it isn't an insult. It just means that you're far away from the source, and so it's sort of what we are. But I'm not going to call them peanut gallery, but I would like a name to call them, so you all think of a good name. The people here, you could do your old-fashioned hand wave, or you have an electronic button to push and raise hands, and so you're welcome to do that as well. And it is meant to be a discussion. The next part we do is a little light work or light play, but we actually use the light. We're here to use this incredible force. Light, love, God all carry the same vibration. We are that divinity of God. We have the power and the right to use this light in any way that serves the divine. And so we do a exercise each week that not only serves the planet, but it serves ourselves, because whatever you send out comes back again to you. So as we send this light and love into the world, it comes back to you. If you've never done an exercise with me, it's really important that you recognize that you may have feelings, guidance to do something different. Do it. Don't feel that you have to follow me or else. It really is about just tapping in and following your own inner source. And it's also about recognizing that we don't give in products. I don't send love to fix this or to heal that or to change that. That's not from my call. We have to just send unconditional love and let the consequences, the results, the outcome be whatever they are. We're here to serve the divine plan. As much as I know about a lot of things, I do not know what the divine plan is, other than this group is part of it because I was very much guided to start the group. But if you send love to heal someone or to fix someone or to make them happy, you are literally manipulating their free will. You're altering, you're changing their life pattern or have the potential to do that. And you experience karmic consequences of that. So we never want to give any kind of outcome. We're just sending unconditional love, and however it's used, whatever happens with it is coming from a pure intent, not from our intentional design. Stacy, you're real good at telling me what I've forgotten. Anything you think I should add to that? Nope. Okay. So then the next thing we do is we're going to just imagine, and your imagination is the most powerful force of creation that you have. Please take the time to imagine a world filled with love. Imagine a world where we're all getting along harmoniously, and how free will, which is the law of the planet, is instated, and that sovereignty and our right to choose is the law of this land again. We've gotten more and more into, you will do this, you will do that. And obviously that doesn't sit well with me and other people who are incredibly sovereign. And we'll talk about that experience as well. I've got tickle in my throat, so my apologies.
Tickle, tickle.
Hi, Christina. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me. Thanks for being here.
And you're just in time for our light play.
I know.
So, yay. So with that, using your imagination, you go to your place of center. And that can look like, mine is a beach. I like beaches. So I have mine look like a beach, but it can look like anything. It can look like nothing. It can be your family room or your kitchen. I've had people imagine, but wherever that place is that you feel most safe, most secure, our home base is a non-physical world. So we make it into physical and we create the reality that we wish to experience. I close my eyes, not because they're magic. You don't have to close your eyes. I do it just to get rid of the distractions, because I'm watching all of you sometimes chew and move around and stuff. And so it distracts me. So I just close my eyes, but you can have your eyes opened or closed, whatever makes you most comfortable. There's no countdown. There's no deep breathing. There's no anything that puts you in any kind of trance. You're 100% present, but in going to centered, in going to that happy place, you literally are moving into pure consciousness and out of your mind. So when you come out of it, oftentimes you may have experiences, but you'll forget them like a dream when you're waking up. So I do recommend you keep notebook and paper and stuff around you and jot down any kind of thoughts or insights that you got while we were playing, or any kind of visions you got, because some people will see things, some people will hear things, some people will feel things, some people will have a combination of. There's no right, there's no wrong. We all have our own way of calling home. So but pay attention, because it's coming to you in consciousness, in a pure connection The mind is a filter. So when we go into consciousness in that center, we're eliminating the distraction of the mind. So with that, any questions or comments before we start? No. Okay. So let's go to center. And just imagine that wonderful tube of light. That you step into this beam, this incredible beam of light. It connects you to your heavenly helpers, your friends in high places. That spiritual energy from the unseen world that comes down to you and through you. And then from there, it goes down into the earth and anchors you and grounds you into the earth energy. You are here as an ambassador of the divine, and you are here to anchor the heavenly energy, that dimensional energy from other realms into the earth. You are here to anchor heaven to earth. And so being in this little tunnel of light, it's what you're doing. You are light, you are love, you are divine. So if you will, just let this light flow to you and through you, and then amplify this light. Imagine it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of us on this call, in every level, just combine our light and love. When two or more gather, we get more and more powerful. So just imagine our combined light growing bigger and bolder. And then we have lots of heavenly helpers, whether you call them angels or aliens, doesn't matter. Just they're here to help this planet and help it transition. So allow their energy to join with us, anyone and everyone who's here to serve this planet and its people. Just imagine this light grows stronger and more powerful, and then send this light and love into the earth, filling every cell in, on, and around this planet with your love, with your light, with our love, with our light. And we know this planet has lots of caverns, lots of holes, lots of vacancies, some man-made, some divinely created with the creation of the planet. We're going to fill them all with love. Anyone who passes through these crevices, these openings, is going to be bombarded with love. And as a human, we have the right to do that. That's why we came. Only those living on the planet can alter the destiny of the planet. We're here to take this planet from a third dimensional reality to a fifth dimensional reality. And that happens through love. Unconditional, divine love. Love is the glue that holds us all together. And then amplify this love and light still and send it out into the atmosphere. And see the earth being cradled in this love. That there's a thick layer of atmospheric love that surrounds this planet. The atmosphere is to this planet as our skin is to our body. It's a very important protective layer. And on this planet now, there are lots of beings who want to alter that, who want to alter the well-being of the planet and the atmosphere. So whether it's intentional or unintentional, we're just going to love them all. Imagine all these beings at every level who are trying to interfere with the progress of this planet, the evolution of this celestial body, and we're just going to love them. Just see them being filled with love, surrounded by love. We ask the angels to maintain this high energy in place as long as it serves this planet. And then we're going to send love and light to all the weather patterns on this planet. The weather is how the earth finds her balance, just like our physical body goes through changes when it's being impacted by various cooties. You can throw up, you can get diarrhea, you can get chills and fever. Same thing Earth does, except we call them weather. And we're just going to love all the weather patterns all around the planet. And whenever you see weather being talked about, just love it. We're going to send love and light to all the places on this planet where there is hate, where there's violence, where there's corruption, where there's greed, where there's any vibrational density. We're just going to love them. And just imagine like sunshine just warming up those places, those cold, dark corners of the planet. We're just going to love them. The collective consciousness is the repository of all consciousnesses that have ever been on this planet or ever will be on this planet. You have made many deposits into this collection, and right now I'd like you just to love it. Just imagine pouring your love consciously into this collective consciousness. And because many people are in sort of a trauma shock state from the happenings of this week, just imagine fluffing it up. Just lighten up all that energy, fill it with love, fill it with light. Like beating egg whites till they're big and fluffy. Just do that with the energy. Take a deep breath and anchor the energy. And then throughout the planet, there are people who are in suffering, who are in pain, who are in sadness, who are in hurt, who are in anger, who are in various states of a dense energy. You're just going to love them. Fill them, surround them with love. Love is the most powerful force in all the universe. Just as we learn to manipulate the energy of light, and now we have lasers. We have lasers that can cut down mountains or remove the smallest cataract from an eye. Focused energy is exceedingly powerful. And this focused love is the most powerful force in all the universe. So just use it liberally on those who need it or want it, those who are in fear, those who are in trauma and turmoil right now. Just love them. And throughout this planet, we have leaders. We have political leaders, business leaders, organizational leaders, leaders in your communities, leaders in your state, leaders at the federal level. We have leaders of all kinds. We're just going to love them all. Those that are working for the greater good, and those that are working for personal agendas. Just love them. Just love them. And find that place within you where your leadership resides. Some of you let it shine a lot more than others. Some of you are keeping your leadership undercover. So we're just going to love that acorn of leadership that each of you have and see it bursting forth. You're all here to be leaders, not followers, not little sheeple as the new word is, but leaders. You all are attached to a unit that provides guidance and has purpose. So love that leadership within you. Imagine pumping them up, making that leadership part of you stronger and more capable, more confident, more trusting. And we have a president that just left office, and we have a president that's just come into office. Love them. Surround them with love and light. And use this love in whatever way serves this country. They are here to serve this country. Let truth be transparent. Let deception be known. And then send love and light to all those who are on this planet with their own agenda, who have something other than the greatest good in mind. I'm just going to love them as well. And if you have people in your life that are in need or want or desire love, please send it freely to them now. People who are sick or in fear, just love them. And right now, that little core of COVID virus is causing a havoc on the planet. Love it. Imagine all of the little viruses all over the planet just being loved and loved and loved. They're playing a very important role, and we're just going to love it. As the Bible says, whatever is made for evil, God can use for good. And then we're going to love all those who are using the COVID for their own agenda. Whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like, we're just going to love them. And we ask all the forces in heaven to guide us, to let us know what our role is in this unfolding. And help us have the courage and the strength to walk our path of truth. And what I would like you to do now is just let the image unfold of you, however much in the future you can handle. See yourself fully bloomed, fully empowered, maybe 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, whatever you can handle. See yourself in your perfected state should you act in trust and courage in order to be your best, in order to live your divine destiny. What do you look like? What are you wearing? How are you feeling? Time is not. That part of you that's already reached your greatness is accessible to you. All you have to do is want to see, want to experience, want to know your greatest self. What do you look like? What do you feel? What would you like to ask yourself? What do you want to know? This part of you knows everything. This part of you is so openly connected to the divine that God's thoughts resonate through your thoughts. What holds you back? What keeps you from being your greatest self? I'm just going to be quiet for a couple minutes and let you commune with your own inner knowing. When you're in consciousness, a minute can seem like an hour can seem like a minute. But all you have to do is go to center and intend to talk, to connect with this part of you that knows, this courageous being that is here to transform a planet. A part of you that's here to vanquish the forces of evil. A very brave volunteer. Take a deep breath and anchor this energy of your perfected self into this here and now self. Just like a rose goes from a bud to a full bloom, it's a process of evolution. At no time was the rose broken or stilted or not divinely perfect. And the same with all of us. We're all in various stages of opening, but we're not broken. We're not in any way damaged. We're just in process. The more you can get in touch with that love generator within you, the more you generate that for the planet. And the quicker she moves into her fifth dimensional state of oneness. When you're ready, just come back to the here and now, continuing to send love and opening yourself to the love, because universal law says whatever you send out, whatever your thoughts are, you must experience. So open up your heart, open up every cell of your body, and let this energy, this love come back to you. And as it comes back, let it balance every cell in your body, every organ in your body, every system in your body, every thought in your body, every DNA. Let it be a restorative power that brings you back to your divine, perfect, original DNA. You are meant to be greater than Superman, more powerful than Jesus. As Jesus said, these things I do, you can do these and greater still. But the first step is you have to believe it. Again, take a deep breath and anchor the energy and slowly bring yourself back to the here and now. Just take a minute to set yourself into this lovely pattern. And if anybody would like to comment or share anything, you're welcome. You're not required to, but if you do it gently, because we're all just sort of oozing in this love energy. So anybody want to share anything? And again, electronically or physically. And Stacy, you can see if there's any comments on the screen.
One of the comments that I got was, thank you for sharing these powerful conversations and sending your amazing positive energy into the planet. There are times when I look up at the sky and I can you turn your phone?
Yes, and I don't know why the alarm's going off, but it
made me
is.
jump many times.
Okay, go ahead.
So that was 2 different comments. And someone said, Esme said, I was looking forward to today since Sunday with hearts. So, yeah. Just, I was amazed at how much shivers I got and how chilly I got. And I'm wearing silk, so it could be this like silk, but it's like my body temperature got.
When you're processing that energy, and believe me, we're processing a lot of energy, whether you recognize it or not. I feel it. I literally start sweating like a pig. But when you're processing that energy, for some people, in order to process it, their metabolism has to shift. So some people will get hot and some people will get cold. Some people will get very stimulated and energized, and others will get very tired, lethargic. However your body responds to the energy is perfect. Just do whatever you need to do, but pay attention to it, because that can also be a cue at other times when you're processing lots of energy. When we ask for help, when we call in this divine support, we're literally being bombarded with energy from other realms. And because we are that link between heaven and earth, it comes into us among other people in order to go into the earth and be anchored in the earth. And so you're often processing energy. So pay attention to how you process it here, because it's more than likely how you process it other times as well. When I'm doing workshops, it's a nightmare. And I just tell people to bring lots of layers, because they're fighting with thermostat. I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot. And after the first few times of doing that, it's like, okay, no touching that thermostat, bring layers. So anybody else want to add anything or say anything?
You can unmute yourself if you're live with us. And if you are watching from elsewhere and you want to join us live, the Zoom number, if you're going to write it down, is the same for every Thursday. And the Zoom number is 428-733-218. Again, that's 428-733-218.
Your voice bubbled during that while I was listening to it. I don't know if it does it on the thing on someone else's or not, but if you'll say it again.
Yes. If you want to join us on Zoom live, you're welcome to. 428-733-218.
And would you give Sunday's Zoom number as well, since they have their pencils out?
It's going to take me a minute.
Okay, then we'll give it later. So have your pencils ready. All right. And so now that's the work done. That's what we're here to do, is play with the energy.
Okay, so Sunday, if you want to join us for Spirituality Meets Politics, that is a private conversation. We only do the very opening on streaming, so it's private, and that is 831-755 38434. Again, 831-755 38434. And that is a different Zoom number, but feel free to join us on Sunday, same time, different conversation.
And feel free to bring friends. Tell your friends, join us. They're always interesting. I've been amazed when I was told to start doing that. It's like I have no idea what's going to be. After a few Facebook exchanges, I didn't know what was going to happen, but they're really interesting, very loving, serene conversations. So with that, anybody have any questions? Christina, is that a question? Okay.
A comment, if that's okay.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, I just want to say that to remember, through all of this craziness, what I see is so much freedom and so much love to be had. So anytime we get scared or, just nervous about what's going on, the future is bright. It is. It doesn't have, I feel like sometimes a lot of people are just so scared, but going to center, it's not that way. It's good.
And, again, through all this trauma, many people have to get to their knees before they're willing to make a change in their life. And so we know that alcoholics have to get to the bottom of the barrel before they are willing to admit they need help. Hoarders do the same thing. Anybody who's got addictions or limitations almost has to get stretched to it's so uncomfortable that it's easier to let go and make the change. We know how embedded many people are in the old model. And so we just have to hold the truth that they need to get shook up really good in order to be willing to move into another level of thoughts. At one time when I've been doing this for 30 years, so it's so old hat to me that I forget how shocking and challenging it could be for some people. But I was told at one time it was like thumping on pipes. You got to get the rust out. And so, we've not been connected as openly as we could. So now in order to shake all those rusty pipes free so everything flows again, we have to get a few knocks. And so I'm hoping these are the knocks, but don't buy in to all of these stories that are going around, because unless it has the vision of what you want to have happen and someone tells you some dire, this is going to happen, just cancel and let divine will be done. Again, I'm very, very clear. My prayer is for divine will to be done, and me to have the courage and the confidence to walk my path of truth, because I don't know what it is. From day 1 to day 2, it can change on a dime. I've just been doing it longer than some people, and so therefore it's a bit more comfortable for me. But you just have to trust. Just have to trust. And each of us, again, the people in your world, Christina, are looking at you as a model. So the more comfortable, the more confident you are, say, well, just go to center and you can give that instruction, because it's not hard. It's just an intention. You help then create this little pod of people who are making the transition easier. And that's really the key. Each one of us has to be a leader in our own little world, our own little community.
Right.
Anybody else have questions or comments? Yes, Josie? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
All
There
right.
you go.
Oh gosh. Just about okay. See, I get it in my head and then it blows out when I'm thinking of something else, and then anyway, it's about.
All right, I'm going to stop you because tonight we're talking about our words. And do you hear how the first statement you made was, I get these thoughts in my head and then they blow up? Is that the reality you want to create?
No.
No. Don't do that. Every word counts. And as things speed up on the planet, they count double. So don't say things that you don't want to be your reality. And if you say them on this call, I'm going to bring them to your attention. So now just take a breath. Yeah, just take a breath and ask or say whatever it is you want to say.
Okay, well, there was a couple of things, but one, I can't remember them, but one I remember.
Okay, you did it then. I can't remember them. Don't affirm you can't remember them. You can remember them in divine perfect time.
Okay, I will remember them.
In divine perfect time.
Yes, in divine perfect time. What you were saying about being shooken up and to get to another level.
Yes.
That sometimes people try to do that, or what were you referring?
The universe does it to us.
Okay.
Because we get sort of stuck in our own ways. And even people who are in their spiritual path sometimes think they've arrived. And if you think you've arrived, you can expect a big good thump, because it's an evolution. You're never there. There's no there to get to. We're just growing and evolving.
Okay. because I had some people try to push me into out of my comfort zone and into another, so they thought that it would push me into another level, and it didn't work.
Well, first of all, tell them to mind their own business. Everybody
Exactly.
is on their own path. Unless you're asking them for help, they should not be interfering with your path, period.
Yes.
And if they're pushing you because they think they have the answers, karma will get them. Don't worry about it. You just have to be confident enough to follow your inner guidance and not some well-meaning outside person. Now, that doesn't mean they may say X, Y, and Z, and you go, oh, that makes sense, and think about it, and then choose for yourself, because we'll get these clues and these hints and these things from all different sources. It may come in a book, it may come in someone talking, it may, randomly overhear a conversation at a restaurant. We'll get what we need to trigger us for our knowing, but we'll feel it on the inside. No one should dictate anybody else's path. If you forget that, go back and watch the story of James Ray, who was convincing. He was a very, very well-known spiritual leader. You have those spiritual leaders, and he was doing a sweat lodge in Sedona, and he was telling people, now you just sit here, don't cop out, let's stay here because you're going to be strong enough, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking these people out of not listening to their own inner guidance, and he's forcing them on his path, and he killed a whole bunch of them. They were cooked in this medicine wheel that was made with plastic rather than anything that breathed, and he's now serving a prison term. Karma will get you. No one else ever, under any circumstances, can tell you what you need to do for your path or what the right action is. Only you know that from an internal source. I can give you what I find helpful for me. I can share with you what I feel, but never should that be absolute. It's got to come from your own inner knowing. And if it even gets close to someone wanting me to live their life, doesn't work. I run. Say, no, I don't want responsibility for your life. So.
Well, I think they were trying to do it in a helpful way, but it didn't turn out that way.
Well, they were trying to do it, period. Maybe their intentions were honorable, but they were not very spiritually aware because they were doing it.
Okay.
So if they were spiritually evolved enough, they would recognize you never interfere with someone else's path, no matter what your intentions, unless they are asked to be a part of it. Christina may ask me for my opinion. I'll give it to her. Christine may do a private session with me, and I'll give her whatever spirit guides me to give her. But it's up to Christina to decide what action she takes. And if I try to take away Christine's right to decide, man, I get the karmic kick. And if I convince her to change based on my opinion, I now take on her karmic debt for that situation. You never want to do that. Never, ever, ever. And no should anyone ever do that for you.
Okay. And I have one other thing. I keep hearing about, these layers that we have to shed, like as far as, your traumas and stuff like that you've gone through, and that, we're not our real selves yet. So we have to, just keep walking through these things that are going to open us up.
Well, remember in the visualization, I said that we're like roses. We're opening up. We're becoming more beautiful of who we are, but we're not broken or anything during that process. And nothing about your life is by accident. Everything has been very intentional to teach you to whatever. And it's true, when you go through a trauma, thank you, Stacy, for the visual. When you go through a trauma, okay, I'm gonna make my point, so put the little rose away. Thank you very much. when you go through a trauma, if you don't heal it, then it's like a wound on your body. You create a protective layer, you know, and if you grew up in a dysfunctional family, you created lots of dysfunctional layers. If I couldn't be the best, then I would be the clown. I would be the analytical person. I would do all the right things. I would be mommy's perfect daughter or mommy's perfect son. That we put on all these things that aren't us in order to be socially acceptable to everyone else. I'm hurt. I can't let my hurt show, so let me put a layer of pretend on. Okay? And
Yeah.
so that layer of pretend is what's keeping us from being full bloom. And so it's not like we're changing ourselves, we're just letting go of what isn't us. And so if you've got a lot of false faces, one of the examples that I give, if you go to have dinner at the White House or dinner at McDonald's, if you feel like you have to be a different person than one or more of those people that you have to be in different situations isn't authentic. And so if you feel like you've got to be one way with your family and one way with your spouse and one way with your children and one way with, and you have all these different ways of being, and I see them as false faces to be socially acceptable in those situations, then all but one or all of them are not your true you. And the goal is to get to our true us. But I don't
Right.
see that as, you know, something that someone else can force you to do. They may assist you, like give you if you fall down, I can give you a hand to help you up. I'm not forcing you to get up. I'm just offering a helping hand. And so there are many, many practitioners who have skills that can help you move through that. But if they're trying to force it on you or tell you what you should do, should, could, would, those kind of words, or you ought to, those are
Right.
cues that someone's trying to manipulate you.
Right.
So
But as far as those layers, like if you see me being different at dinner with different people, how would you
well, I wouldn't see you being different because I would have to see you in different situations. What I feel is the energy. When I
Okay.
go into someone's energy, it's like your core essence has a vibration. And it's hard to explain because we don't have a language for energy, but I go into the core energy and all of a sudden I have different kinds of textures. For instance, I'm going into this core energy that feels like silk, and now I hit a layer of burlap, and then I hear a layer of polyester. Well, it tells me that you have got these little false impressions that you're giving to the world. You've got these other facades that you're sharing. It's not bad. It just keeps you from being your natural self.
Well,
So
what happens if you don't know that that's going on?
then the universe will knock you on the head and clean out your pipes. Something will come along that helps you recognize it. Or you'll feel real pissed because you see this person being a phony over here. Oh my gosh, look at how phony they are. They're not being. And so, because the world will give us mirrors. So if you're
Okay.
feeling upset that someone else is not being true to who they are, or they're not being their best self, you know, sit down and take an inventory. It's about you, not about them.
So to get these layers off, I have to work with somebody. No.
All of my journey has been solo. Everything I've done has been with me. And so if you read, you don't have to read Perfect Power. I'm going to give you the whole exercise now, but in Perfect Power, I was learning how to, that was the period. I'm learning how to integrate body, mind, and spirit. And so I'm being given all these exercises. And I was told that I had created many faces. Me? And so the exercise that I was given to do is every morning when I brush my teeth, just imagine taking a layer off, like an onion. You take off an outside layer that doesn't serve me. And so I did, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. You don't need to do physical things, and you don't need to, buy certain products or do whatever. you just have to trust. You have all the power you need, but unfortunately, not everybody understands it or utilizes it. So the books I wrote are not that you need the books, but they can be shortcuts for spending your own time. It took me, years to learn those lessons. It'll take you a few hours to read the book. So it shortens your curve. Stacy wants to say something. Yes, Stacy.
I also suggest working with you because you do private coaching. I think you've had one client for over 5 years straight because they just keep learning and growing so much and so fast. So I highly recommend always having a coach that you align with in fullness. I was a trained figure skater growing up, and I've learned early on that even with skating, I didn't just have a skating coach. I had a figure coach. I had a choreography coach. I had 5 different
schools, off-ice conditioning, the school thing. We had everything. I spent my entire salary on her coachings.
And yes,
yay!
Yes, yay! Mom. And so, in my experience, if you want to move faster, quicker, and easier, I suggest getting someone that you align with. I think Mom is amazing. She's not changed her prices in 30 years, even though I'm the one trying to get her to up her prices. But she's, to me, I mean, she's, is it 97 an hour?
I'm going to use this as a time to plug because no one needs a coach, but a coach can shorten the learning curve. Yeah. Everybody can get there. It's like I did. It took me 30 years. You may not want to spend 30 years doing this. And so starting in February, on Monday nights at 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing a mentorship for 1 month, weekly group coaching to help people move through whatever they want to move. You're still in charge. You determine your goals. You determine what you want to move through. We just do it collectively in the process so that we can speed the process and gain more confidence, but you don't need someone. If you think you need someone, then you need someone. If you think you've got to wear garlic, then you've got to wear garlic. It's about trusting your own inner guidance, but because I've been there, done that, I can help you get through it a bit faster. Stacy, you want to talk about the financial thing of that? If people, because I'm just using her model.
You're using my model.
It's in March.
Okay. So,
yes, we're starting for February. Yeah, we're doing it for February, and then we'll see what happens with March based on what happens in February, because everything is changing so quickly. I literally got this morning that I'm to offer this, and so I don't know what's going to happen in March, but apparently right now this is important to do. So go ahead, Stace.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same thing how I started my feminine group. So it's 111 to 222 based donation based. And then if you want to do it the 4-week program with privates, then it's 333 to 444 donation based, and then you get a 20 to 30 minute private each week with Heather. And
thank you. And so if you have questions and you want more information, then talk to Stacy and I, and we'll go through it. But it's, again, just helping people move into their full bloom faster and easier, so less bumps.
About 20. It's 2-hour class. How long is your class? It's about.
We don't have an end time. We're having a beginning time because we don't know how long you go.
Well,
so. Okay. All right. So if you want more information, just ask. Anyway, with that,
but as you see, every athlete, every coach, every business person I know, even coaches that coach, usually have someone they work with and coach, because it just keeps, to me, they have a way to see things other than the way you see things. And so for me, just having someone to assist you in that process is the biggest gift. And I'm lucky because I get my mom.
I know. Lucky you.
Reminds me of the poem by Bobby Burns. The gift of Gius to see ourselves as others see us, from many a fancy free us.
What did you say about garlic, by the way? Someone was asking, you mentioned garlic.
That was an example. There are people, keep vampires away, you wear a string of garlic, and so if you believe that, you got to do that. So it's just your beliefs create the reality. So if you think you've got to have a certain crystal and do a certain ceremony and say a certain prayer and do all those things, then you've got to, because that's your belief system. So your beliefs make it your reality. My belief is spirituality is easy, fun, and simple, and you don't need to buy anything to do it. But if you're going to buy a book, well, hell, you might as well buy my books. But you don't need a book. So, and I've got a new book coming out soon. So hopefully by next week, we'll have that announcement. All right. Anything else? Yay, I know. Anybody else have a question?
Yes, John.
I can find some more. If you need any, I can find some more.
John.
I know. I try to go around to everybody before I come back to you again, Josie, so everybody gets a chance to ask questions or make comments. You don't have to ask questions. You can also share something. But we want to just...
Hey, everybody. I haven't spoken to a group of people in quite some time. So just want to say I appreciate being here. And Stacy, thank you for inviting me. I can really feel a lot of love here. I can just feel it from everybody. And it's the first time when we meditated and focused our intentions. It's the first time in several weeks that I've had that I felt that charge of divinity. Little snippets of it here and there, but that time I definitely felt that I got into a little bit of a download or trance-like state, and it was nice. It was nice.
Well, the group energy makes it much more intense to begin with, and then every week, for me, it gets stronger. So come back and play with us again.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There was a couple comments I want to make. A couple things kind of came through where I just felt compelled to remind everybody that we are the divine. We are the beginning. We are the end. We are source. We're all connected. And oftentimes, and every time in life, from our childhood, we're given these labels of who we are, and we give ourselves labels of who we think we are, and what we're supposed to do, and how we're supposed to act, and how we're supposed to react. And just remember, that's all part of my language, but bullshit. That's not who we are. We are the divine. So anytime you're getting your ruffles, your feathers ruffled, somebody is pointing fingers at you or saying you're this, or in your mind you're saying, hey, I'm this label, that label, the other label. It's just not true. You are the beginning and the end. You are everything. You're the director of your own movie. And I'm guilty of it. I fall into the trap all the time.
I want to add something in that it's true for them. That's where we need to understand and honor. It's true for them. That's what they're seeing, because you're mirroring back what they need to see. You just don't have to own that as who you are to you. And the more you are confident with who you are from an internal source, the less you give your power to these external sources to define you. If anyone or anything outside you is setting and defining you, then you need to sit down and do some homework, because that's you. You've given them your power.
That's what I was getting to, the giving away your power. When you react to somebody negatively and it makes you feel a certain way, that's not a positive feeling. You're in essence.
Well, we wouldn't do that. We only send love, right, everybody? Those people that have been here before, they're right into their sending love. When anything stimulates an emotion, we send love. Right? Everybody shake their head. Yes.
And I would say on the other hand, it's okay to have these, we're here to have these human experiences, to have these human feelings, the negativity and all that. I mean, that's there's utility in that as well. That's part of the miracle of being here in this physical realm. And that's all I have to say.
Again, we because this group has been ongoing for in some cases years, because we started out on the phone before we came to Zoom. A lot of these things we've talked about that you're jumping in at this point in time. Emotions are very important. Emotions signal a lesson. So when we have the emotion, you certainly don't run away. You feel them fully. You just don't act in them like we once did. You don't have to punch the wall or scream or punch somebody's nose. You recognize what they're stimulating and then get behind that to see what's causing that strong emotion, be it positive or negative. That's the system which has been put in place to help you recognize your lessons. And so they're very important. Never ever deny your emotions, but you don't necessarily need to act in them as either. So that's the evolution part of this. I can be really angry and own that anger and embrace that anger. And then I can look at, okay, what's causing my hurt? What's causing my sadness at this? Because anger is an example of how it always masks that hurt and sadness. But I don't try and pretend I'm not angry. And those people who've been on the calls for a while know that my face is about as transparent as cellophane paper. You know, you can tell how I'm feeling very easily.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting me interject with my
Oh,
thoughts.
thank you. Thank you. Well, no, what's really important about that is even though that's something we've talked about in the past, I forget that other people may still need that. So it's really important, as I said at the beginning, to step up and talk when you're feeling the need to talk, because your comment may help someone who wasn't here on the time we talked about that. So no, I bless it and thank you very much.
And there's already been a couple comments too of like, each Cosmic Conversation I join is the absolutely perfect fit for me. Amazing. Happy to be a part of this energy. Like, it's true. Like, whenever you're guided to do something, please do, because that is the divine to me messaging you. Like, there's more than sometimes just you. So.
And one of the other things that we've talked about is the way the universe sort of says, pay attention, this is important, and that's the chills. So when someone says something, whether it's John or Christina or somebody says something and you get chills, I get them down the back of my head, but you may get them some other places. That's your soul going, pay attention, this is important. Sort of the universal highlighter or key information for you. And so when other people are talking, it can be very meaningful for you as well. So it really is important for everybody to talk up as they feel guided to talk, not just to occupy airspace and take it up, but just to share the wisdom that they have.
And one of the things too, since this is the first time, welcome. At the end, Mom usually does what she calls spirit sprinkles. I'm not allowed to call them anything else other than a spirit sprinkle.
If there's time.
If there's time. And questions, and she loves interactions because she was a retired professor, so she's used to questions and stuff. So there is 2 questions online that I'd like to ask. One is about rainbows. And
rainbows, lollipops, and dum, 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 dum. Okay, say it again. What's the question? I didn't hear a question.
I believe do rainbows carry a portal?
Not that I'm aware of. There are many portals on the planet, but in my awareness, they're not at all connected with rainbows. Rainbows are often more, from a physical standpoint, we know what they are, but from a spiritual standpoint, they're a reminder. They really are a reminder to look up and be in awe. And when you can see double rainbows and rainbows going in every direction, I mean, it really is about just remembering this whole experience is just magnificent. And to think that you can go into a planet, a physical experience, a physical body, a physical world that we create with our thoughts, and that every thought you have changes your world. I mean, that is incredible. That is incredible. And so the rainbows for me are a reminder that we need to live in awe. But portals, the worst, I mean, I shouldn't say worst, the most profound portals with the lesser lights. My spirit friends don't call them, the black hats or the bad guys. They're the lesser lights. Everything is of God, but not everything lets their light shine as brightly as they could. And so my friends call those that don't let their light shine is lesser lights. But the places where the UFOs and things come in, of the lesser light beings, because we've got tremendous numbers of aliens living on the planet. It's ridiculous to start that conversation. But anyway, are places where there's a lot of Middle East has a bunch of them, and that's why they're always at war. It's a way of camouflaging, keeping things stirred up so they're not watching the sky so much. But we have a lot of portals, but usually they're places where there's a lot of distractions going on. And so love them. It's one of the reasons why we send love to all those places where there's war and anger and whatnot. But the Middle East has been fighting for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Accident? No, not so much.
And I agree with you. I think it's like it's a reminder of your magic, of like there's so much more beyond what our eyes are currently able to see, that it's like there's so much magic in the air and around us at all times, that to me it's rainbows, just those gentle reminders from the universe of like, this is a magical world. Yeah. Okay, another question is, as she's on YouTube today because they want to see it on their TV, but they'd like to ask if I can send love and ignore at the same time, because lately I just feel like ignoring most people that text me. I just feel tired and blah. She's like, and so is it okay to send love and ignore?
You have free will, which means you can do anything you want. And if that's what you want to do it. I mean, without guilt, it's free will. You can send love and ignore. You can put up an automatic responder that says, I'm going through a period of reflection. I'm not responding to emails. So you can tell people up front, and that send them love and light. You can ask for, I have a gatekeeper. I do a lot of media, and for especially radio shows, they often do call-ins or people calling in. And so I have a mediator, a gatekeeper, a spiritual gatekeeper. So I'm never connecting with the people's energies or the energy of their dead Uncle Fred. I'm connecting to my gatekeeper, who informs who's connected to them. So again, you're all powerful. You want to do something, do it. Do it with love in your heart and good intentions. But you don't have to answer anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to be anything. You just follow your heart. And if that's what's feeling the need to do, then do it.
I do. People close to me know that I'm a talker, not necessarily a texter, and I keep my phone on silent and not even next to me a lot of times. So that happens for me. I just let people know, like, hey, if I'm writing, if I'm doing things, like my phone's off, and yeah.
Free will, which is what the law of this land is, which is what this country was conceived in. We kind of lost along the way. We're here to bring it back. Says you have the right to live your life in any way that you want, as long as you don't interfere with someone else's right to live their life how they want, which means a very unhappy, sad, angry person has the right to live a very sad, unhappy, angry life. Now, you may have an inner guidance to offer them a kind word or a meal, and that's okay. And when, for instance, in Egypt, I go to Egypt a lot, and sometimes there's a lot of beggars, and some I'll feel compelled to assist them, and some not so much. And I have that right without guilt to do what I feel guided to do. Any comment from that? Did she respond?
I saw Elle.
She what?
No comment back yet.
Okay.
It looks like Ellie or Elle unmuted, so maybe she has a question.
Okay.
If you do, just speak up.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I when we were going through that, when you were talking and we were meditating, I think the part where you had said, envision what you look like, that really rang true with me tonight. And I could see myself. I could see what I was wearing. I could see the color of my skin, the brightness of my eyes. It was very powerful. So I just wanted to thank you, because I know that I forget to do this, and along the way, is to envision myself already there, have arrived, and I'm doing everything. So
Yeah.
that felt good. I could feel like the energy and the warmth in my body.
And I'm getting chills with you talking about that. So that must have been very important for you. And you also, I stress, we've been programmed to think we've got to do a whole lot of ceremony and a whole lot of deep breathing and a whole lot of relaxing and a whole lot of this to that to make those contacts. We don't. We just have to go in and trust and make the effort. And it's all there. It's all there. So I'm glad you had a meaningful experience.
Thank you. Yes.
I have it vicariously. I get to experience all of you through the energy of it.
And Laura said yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
And this is recorded on Stacy's channel on YouTube. So if you want to go back and do it again, you can.
Yes, and I have Mom's book. Many were called, few were chosen.
Oh yeah.
I read it chapter by chapter. I mean, which is also a fun.
And she loves people to follow her. She's very big on her numbers.
Well, I have like 20, I think, something like that. It's exciting. I don't know. It's just something that I was always a little scared of doing, and it's like just stepping into it. It's like whatever, just do it. Okay.
Anything else? Are we done there?
I was to me, I've had a couple of times this week that it was very special because I had a friend message me a video of Mom from C-SPAN back in 2000 on the campaign trail.
In the good old days.
Yes, that just brought up so much like yummy amazingness. And
for those who didn't know, I ran for president for 10 years. So I have a lot of political experience, which I did not know I was doing then to be ready for the now. Many of the things I was told and taught back in from 1990 to 2000 really are in place for now. So that was my preparation. Who'd have thunk? So on Sunday nights, we talk politics, and then you hear a lot more stories of the campaign and that kind of stuff. And someone said, Stacy, C-SPAN video. Was that John or was it somebody else? You John did, okay. So you saw me in my glory back then too. And I have baseball cards of all the candidates who ran. I'm sure they're collector buttons now, but I was in the group photo. I'm between Gore and Bush, which I thought
the video,
was
the
interesting.
C-SPAN video, I believe I think a Massachusetts like town hall,
Yeah.
I believe, and it was very synchronistic to from what I was dealing with just a couple nights ago, conversations I was having and where I was at, to talking to Stacy, to then seeing the video of you. It was impressive, and I was a little awestruck when I talked to you. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? Yeah.
I don't do time well. I don't know. But thank you. It's I've been talking to dead people for 30 years, but more people think I was crazy because I ran for politics. I got involved with politics than talk to dead people. So it's an interesting phase of my life.
Very cool.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Christina.
I was gonna say, I saw in my sensor, my future self, I saw myself engaged. And I was like,
did you see your fiance or not?
He was there. I didn't get to see a clear face, but yeah, he was there. I've been married twice, and both times I knew who I was going to marry instantly based on the energy, because I'd had dreams and I recognized the energy. It's like, oh shoot. So instantly I knew it both times. Mm-hmm.
The first time with my dad, it was cute because I believe you came in from a date and he put his hand on your knee.
No.
Okay, this is how I remember the story. He put his hand on your knee, and then you're like, oh shit, that's him. And then you went in after hanging out or whatever, going to a IU event together because you both are from the same area, and you went in and told Mom and Aunt Liz that you're going to marry this man. That's how I remembered it.
Okay. And that's close, but no cigar. But we had gone to the event, and at the event, it was very noisy. And that's when he put his hand on my knee. And it's like, oh my God, I'm going to marry him. So anyway, because if there's no questions or comments, we just have a very short, I mean, it's not short now. We've been in here an hour and a half. So zip it.
By the way, if you're new to this is the mother-daughter relationship that we have. That it's very evident. And it's sometimes better for you if you're personally on here to ask questions over than me, because
I can add, you know, I don't want to bogart the time here, but I'll add something a little to lighten the mood. It's kind of funny. Well, not the fact that she has cancer. My mother has had glioblastoma for 25 months now. It's the same brain cancer that John McCain had, Bo Biden had. So it's a pretty, you know, it's aggressive brain cancer, but she's a 25-month survivor. And so, of course, I've been working with helping her to heal and do well and everything. And I did the exercise with her that we did with the visualization of her higher self, her better self, and her happy place, and the place that she was most comfortable and strong and powerful. And she, as she was trying to do that, she was telling me that she kept ending up in a bar stool, having a beer at a bar. I'm like, Mom, it's supposed to be like a beach. It's supposed to be majestic, mountains, something, not a bar stool. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, actually, if that is the time in your life where you felt the most powerful and beautiful and successful, it's where you're, you know, different strokes for different folks, you know, 20 ways to skin a cat, I guess.
Cool. And it's also where it's not your business what kind of image she creates. You've got to allow her form. It's one of the things we work with Stacy about. She's always wanting to dictate because she's got this control issue. So we're learning how to stay in her own path. Show Exploring Life's Last Frontier, Stacy.
And I didn't learn them from anybody else, Mom, right?
Exploring Life's Last Frontier, The World of Death, Dying, and Letting Go was a book that I was guided to write, and it covers a period of my life where my mother was dying and all the things I was given about death, and I was taken on these little junkets through various death experiences. But in that book, you know, we're all going to die. It's a matter of time. You know, we're all terminal. But one of the things that I was told when writing that book was that people who are very, very mature souls will often have very slow, lingering deaths, like your mother's brain cancer, that people sort of know she's terminal, but has a long death stretch because it makes it much easier for the people they leave behind. You know, and nobody dies unless they are in alignment from every aspect of your beingness, so that your death is arranged to be exactly what you need it to be for your experiences. Very young souls will often have a very quick death, you know, a good car accident and you're out of here, or, you know, something real quick, because they're more easier on me, and it's much more traumatic on those they leave behind. So with your mother and other people who have a very stretched out death period, it's usually a very advanced soul.
Mm-hmm.
So when she dies, you'll be going, oh, thank God, she suffered enough. I'm so glad she's out of here. And so you won't have nearly the amount of trauma as someone who goes, oh shit, I just talked to them yesterday and now they're dead. You know, that's much more traumatic on those they leave behind. And you can't be murdered unless you agree to it as well. Every aspect of your death is part of your choosing. But thank you for letting me say that.
And this is the Exploring Life's Last Frontier.
Yeah, and I talk about death in general, and I take 3 people who were alive, who died, and then I follow them through their death experience individually, so you see different things that happen to you when you die, because it's not one size fits all. It's very, very individual. So a lot about how you're living will determine how you're dying. And I've walked many people through the threshold of life and death, which we can do when you're allow yourself that privilege. When my ex-husband died, he was real into cars, and he literally went to a car show. we talked to him about, having that place in mind where it's your perfect place. So he went to a car show and he started talking about this 58 Chevy and all the people were his car shows. But it really does help to have your preset. Where do you want to go when you die? Because it's the trauma of going, man, I feel like I'm alive. Some of us who are in our older years go, oh, I don't feel any different than I did when I was 20 or 30. And it's the trauma of going, oh my God, I don't feel any different than when I was alive. So having something preset is easier.
Say something because I think, does your mom have cancer now, or is?
Yeah, you said 26 years.
The fact that it's terminal, because I don't think it is.
Yeah, so it's yeah, she's glioblastoma. It's uncurable, and so her having it for 25 months, she's responding to all the treatments in the top 1%. I mean, usually this is glioblastoma diagnosed, it's 3 to 6 months max, and you're gone. Surviving beyond 6 months is fairly rare. But no, she's in great spirits. She's lost a lot of weight, but she's gaining some weight back. And I've been telling her all along, because my guides, or as your mom calls it, spirit friends, were telling me to let her know that she's good, that she's good to go, and that in every MRI, the glial cells are still there, but they aren't replicating. So she's still with us. And
well, the research, when they did research on Einstein's brain, he had 70% more glial cells than most normal brains. And the only way they've gotten glial cells to replicate is through play and being in an enriched environment. So have her play more. What does she like to do to play? Active engagement, fun, and that'll help stimulate her glial cells. The other thing is that on Netflix they have a show called Heal. It's a movie documentary. This is a one-shot deal, but it talks about all the alternative healings and all the miraculous healings that people have had, and that will also plant the seed. So if her death isn't necessary now, it shows all the evidence and what these people have done and what they had in common. There are 9 things that these people who've had miraculous cures have all had in common. So sit and watch it with her and have a conversation. It's very powerful. Heal. I told my sister about it. She goes, I've looked all over. I can't find cure. And I said, well, you're not going to. It's not called cure. It's called heal. So
I'll check it out.
Yeah. Stacy, you got a question, comment?
Heal.
Heal.
Oh, it is. Heal.
When I was really sick about a year ago, I would watch that movie about every other day.
Really? Well, you look good now, so it must have worked.
That and the treatment I'm doing.
Well, whatever it takes. Yes. And my sister has lots and lots of issues as well physically. So just plant seeds, because if you don't think it's possible, it isn't. You've got to believe that it's possible.
Well, and I think that's also the incredible brilliance of our body and diseases, because it's always teaching us something too. Like I look through even the last few years of my injury life, and each time it's a very big opportunity to expand and grow and learn and face and heal.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Any other questions out from the outer realm? Nope. Okay. Any questions in the inner realm? Okay, Josie.
Well, I don't really have a question. Well, anyway, okay. As far as, like believing that anything's possible, and then if you believe that, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. So as far as like, doing these meditations and, like all this stuff, it's not really my belief, but it's what I was taught. So now, like, you're teaching me that I don't have to do that because I can just trust. So I can ditch all that stuff, ditch all my crystals.
Free
and-
will. Free
All
will.
right.
Free will. It's your
Well, that
choice.
was a good answer.
And literally we're programmed for a lot of stuff that's to keep us out of our power. The misinformation has been
Right.
going on for a very long time, and sometimes people are well meaning. It's not like they're coming from this evil place, but it's designed to keep you controlled and manipulated. And so yes, if you believe it can be instantaneous and takes no effort, when I ask for anything, I always throw in, well, there's several things I throw on. This or something better for my highest and best good and the highest best good of all concerned. That's always a tag on. And then make it easy, make it simple, make it fun. You know, I don't want to work for my spiritual journey. I want to just make it easy, fun. And it does.
Yay.
I know, it's so easy. If you ask for it to be easy, but humanity for so long have equated hard work with something of value. I got to work hard to make this happen, or I've got to work hard to do this, and no pain, no gain. I mean, look at all the cliches we have that reinforce that, you know, the early bird gets the worm, and, you know, all this stuff. And it's not true. Unless you believe it to be true, then it's true for you.
Okay.
I want easy and fun.
That sounds great. I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah, easy and fun. Because I have done I've asked like my angels to make the day easy for me, the road, my path, whatever, you know, just could you make it easy for me? Or like you say, I could just ask the divine, you know, the same thing.
Well, they're all for the same team. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can.
Okay.
I love my sister, who's very intense, and she's very kind of thing, and so she's very politically upset at this moment in time. And so I was talking about just trust in the divine plan, and, you know, ask God and whatnot. She goes, I don't believe in God. And I said, okay, who do you believe in? She said, Ronald Reagan. I said, he's my God. And I said, well, then ask Ronald Reagan to help you, because they're all on the same team. So it doesn't matter. I had one person who had such bad experiences, and she just didn't trust any human being. So she had a tree. She would ask the tree. Doesn't matter who you ask. You just have to believe that you're going to get it. Ask and believe, and you shall receive. You've got to believe.
Yes. And two things, like I love the thing you said too, for those who have eyes willing to see will see, for those that have ears willing to hear will hear. And yes, I love that. There was a question, when you ask for help from spirit guides, does it have to be out loud or simply thinking about it?
You can ask it any way you want. You can write a note. You can ask it in your head. You can ask it out loud. You can stand on top of a building and proclaim it to the heavens. It doesn't matter how you ask. It's that you ask with sincerity. I've told the story many times, but I love the story. I had a foster daughter who was early teen, maybe 13 at the time, and she was kind of a goth, kind of
Funky.
Yeah, she you know, was not into angels or anything else, but she went swimming with her glasses on in Lake Michigan. And guess what? She dropped her glasses in Lake Michigan, which is not a little pond of water. And I said, ask the angels for help. And she goes, nah, 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 nah. And I said, you're 13. I can't ask for you, because she's now in her own independence at age 13. You are responsible for your own decisions. And I said, I can't do it for you. You ask the angels. And I said, you don't have to say it out loud, just say it in your head and ask the angels to help you find your glasses. And she did, and so I didn't know if she did or not. But about a few minutes later, this guy who's out in the middle of Lake Michigan goes, anybody lose their glasses? And she was shocked, but it did make her a believer. So it's really important that you ask. However you ask is up to you. And again, there's no law book. It's humanity that says you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. There's no rules. It's a direct connection. Do whatever feels right, but you do have to ask, because they can't interfere with your life without your permission. But there are many ways that you give the dark side, the lesser lights, permission to screw around with your life. And that's where you want to stop doing that.
I don't understand what you meant. You give the lesser lights.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
mean,
you
how many
also
times have you
protect
said things like something's bothering me or something's eating me? That's all the permission that reptilians need to feed off your energy system. And I've removed a lot of reptilian, they sort of like energetic leeches. They keep you a quart low, and they like stirred up chaotic energy. So they really muck up your life. But when you say these things like something's bothering me or something's eating me, that's permission. And oftentimes we don't recognize when we're saying these things and how destructive they are. And so you have to become mindful of every word, and you have to stop wasting words and saying things that aren't important, because that's how you get yourself in trouble.
And I agree, like, especially as we're moving into this thing that we're manifesting things like that. So, like, just like in the beginning when you were saying, I don't remember this. Well, then you couldn't remember because you were saying you don't remember. So
Right.
allow anything that you don't want for future and own it as, in the past I didn't remember, but now I do. Or I remember this, and then you just wait till the other one comes. One person
Or
said,
I don't remember yet. And that gives you the ability to bring it in when it's time.
someone
I
asked,
haven't found it yet.
they want to have a better connection with the spirit guides, but not sure how to be better at it.
That's
Well,
communicate.
think in terms of if they had a best friend, what would they do to build a more powerful relationship with their best friend? They would just connect with them periodically, be sincere, say what's on their mind, listen. It's not a lot different than any kind of physical relationship. You wouldn't ridicule, make fun. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard people really insult either their bodies or their spiritual connections. You just recognize that it's another relationship and you're respectful of it. You know, when I first started, which is captured in my book, Interdimensional Communication.
Here, that book. Ready?
When I first started communicating, I didn't realize I was communicating. Now I recognize I've been communicating all my life, as all of you have. You cannot be alive without communicating. And so go ahead, Stacey.
I was just showing the book. So it's the art and science, talking to ghosts, spirits, angels, and other dead people, and interdimensional because we're all different dimensional beings.
And I also wanted not to make it real reverent, because people act like you've got to be born with a special veil, or you have to have some kind of divinity bestowed on you in order to connect. We have to be connected or you can't be alive. So just when I started, the point of the story is when I started, I actually said, what do I do? How do I do this? And I'm asking them for instructions on how to help me connect, not realizing that I was connecting in the process of getting ready to connect. So you just have to be open and recognize, because how they connect with Josie is going to feel different than how they connect with Alicia, or how they connect with me, or how they connect with Stacy. You have to learn how to listen, sort of what I call your doorbell, and know how to answer it. But we're all connected. You cannot be alive without it. Does that help them?
She said, Heather made it seem so simple. Thank you.
It is simple. It is simple.
My volume must be down low for them, or my hearing must be off. I don't know. It's so soft. I can barely hear them.
Well, then you tell them to turn up the volume.
Right.
Yeah, like when I first started connecting with my body, again, that's covered in Perfect Power. It's like I didn't know what to do with my body. And I said, talk loud, talk clear, so I can hear you. So I could begin to tune in. Now I recognize the signs, but I know what my body is telling me when it's telling me something. But in the beginning, I didn't. Again, you're seeing a very seasoned version of me now. When I started, I didn't have any more skills. I was a professor. I knew about research. I knew about, those kinds of things. And so, talking to dead people was like not in my realm. Now it's such a natural thing that I can't imagine anybody not doing it. In fact, when I talk to people who are so scared of it, it's kind of shocking to me.
How long did it take you to develop the communication with them?
I've gone through lots of stages of communication. And so, I started with one and then expanded to another form. And so now I have a full arsenal of different ways of connecting. And as I said earlier, I don't do time well, so I don't really know how much time it took. I know with interdimensional communication, I started the book when I was just starting the process.
Okay.
And then there was a period of time that went by. And then I finished the book when I was much more advanced in my communication. So the book covers the whole span of it. I couldn't have written the beginning part when I was at more advanced level because I'd forgotten it. I forgot all I did. So by having it cover the span, it was divinely perfect, which is what we do. So, and in the book, I have, probably 5 or 6 different techniques that you can use, any one of them. But it's basically just talking and listening, and it's not, I didn't do meditation. It wasn't that I listened through meditation. I just literally sat down and listened. And sometimes it would be through writing. I'd write it down. Sometimes it would be, through communication. There were times I was advised to get a tape recorder and record my verbal conversations. And so it was just all different ways. But I trusted and I followed. And in every case, I listened. And that's where most people fall down, is they don't listen. And you can't listen on the go. You have to sit down and still yourself so that you can hear that wee small voice to begin with. Stacey, remind me to find that poem about the wee small voice.
Yay.
So I wrote a poem about it before I even knew what it was. I wrote it. I was sitting at a meeting at the university and wrote this poem on wee small voice, and it was pretty good. And then it was published in a magazine in this country, and then it was picked up, and it's been in many magazines across the globe. No accident. But it's called about the wee small voice. You can only hear it if you get very, very still. So. Going once. All right, we'll do about 25 minutes of that'll make it 8:15 that we stop, of sprinkles. So we're gonna.
Elsie's happy.
More time.
There was a couple people from last time that were starting off the sprinkles. Do you remember who they were, Stacey?
No.
Oh.
No idea.
Okay. I want to first do a sprinkle for the planet.
I think it might have been Anna and Jennifer, and they're both on here actually.
Okay, was that true? They'll have to acknowledge.
Sure. Yeah, remind me, but I think it was Anna and Jennifer that didn't get the sprinkle last week. So we'll start with you two. I'm pretty sure. And then
Okay.
The sprinkle for the planet and how we can best serve integrity and honesty inside of our government.
All right, Stacey, let's just
love that.
Start. All right, I'm going to first just do a. No, I'm not going to. Okay, Anna, let's start with you. So unmute yourself.
I wanted to ask about career wise, where
All right, you got to first start by saying your name. Your name has the broadcast energy of who you are, the essence of who you are. So when you say your name, it allows me to get the best shot of your energy, and then give me a pause, and then I follow your energy, and then you can ask your question. So do it again.
Okay. Anna.
Okay.
and I wanted to see, as far as my career, where could I be going?
Well, first of all, I will tell you, you've got lots of talents. It's, I don't know. I don't know what you know, so I'm going to say this, but it might be kind of shocking. You're actually an eighth dimensional consciousness that has lots of different aspects. And so your biggest struggle during this lifetime has been to sort of get all the butterflies to fly in formation, because there's a part of you that wants to do this, and a part of you wants to do that, and a part of you wants to do this. And so you're always getting distracted by something else that you want to do. Does that make sense? Anna, this is where you go yes or no.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
All right, this is interaction. And so what's happening is that you have so many different talents that you could go in so many different directions, because you have so many different consciousnesses working within you. You have access to many, 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 many more levels of information awareness than what most people are aware of. And so you can do lots of things. Find what makes you feel the happiest. If I said, what makes your heart sing, then whatever you answer to that, that's the level and place you want to start looking for a job. Like I'll use Stacy. Stacy loves to perform. Stacy loves having an audience. She's done that since the day she was born. And so for her, whatever she can do that will cause other people to listen to her, to pay attention, to notice, is very important for her. That feeds her soul. For someone else who's shy, that may have been the worst thing to do. So you've got to decide what feeds your soul, because you can do many, 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 many things. It's not what feeds your family or put stuff on the table. It's what feeds your soul. And I don't think you've ever spent time really looking at yourself to say, what does make me happy? One exercise that you can do that helps identify it is go back and think through your life and think about what they call those peak moments, those times when you were really, really happy. What were you doing when you were really, really happy? And it wasn't necessarily what you're doing, but what that was stimulating, what that was causing. And then that will guide you. This is a time not to do just for the sake of doing or getting a paycheck. This is the time to do what feeds our soul. And it may not be something that someone else would love, but it'll be what you love. And that's important, because we were wanting our soul to expand into this experience. So I'm going to let you go first next week if you're online. And I want you to tell me what feeds your soul, and then we'll finish this question. Okay, that's your homework for this week. What feeds your soul?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll get the job really quick as soon as you get clarity on it. It's like you're all over the place right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now Jennifer B.
Yes. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Hi. So yes, my name is Jennifer, and my question is that if I go through surgery next month, will it alter my path of what I'm supposed to be doing in this earth or this lifetime?
It's going to piss your body off a bit, but I don't feel that it's going to make any difference in your overall life path at all. It's almost like, she's going to do this. The surgery you're having is not mandatory. It's sort of a elective surgery.
Yes, elective.
Okay. And so it's like, it doesn't make any difference. Whatever feels, it won't make a difference to you either. So if you feel like having the surgery, do it. Again, free will. If you don't feel like having the surgery, don't have it. It doesn't make any difference. But if you have it, you want to spend a lot of time being very nice to your body, because your body doesn't like to be hacked on. Surprise. And so you want to and your body has its own consciousness. You're a triad always. Body, mind, and spirit all have separate consciousness that are working together, and they work best when they're in harmony in a respectful relationship. So you want to respect your body and imagine it's your 10-year-old child that you're wanting to prepare for surgery. What would you say? What would you do? How would you help them get ready for this surgical procedure should you choose to go through it? But I don't think it's going to have any impact either way. It's just whatever. But you do want to prepare yourself for the experience and know that you're divinely perfect with it. You're divinely perfect without it.
Okay. And I prepare myself just like asking my body questions.
Well, you can ask questions, or you can share it. I think, and think in terms of if you were talking to a sort of a mature child about it, what would you do? You'd explain what's going to go on. You tell them how it's going to work, what's going to happen first and second, and how they might feel, and what the doctors are looking for. You might explain why you're going through it. What's the rationale? Because your body may be going, "What the hell is she doing this for?" So you might want to explain what's your motivation to have it done. And then certainly prior to going into surgery, you're going to ask for a team of angels to go in there and be with your surgical team. And you're going to want to ask them to guide the hands of your surgeon so that everything is easy and successful. Again, I'm always going for easy and successful. And if there's anything you need to know to prepare for it, please let you know. Talk loud, talk clear. So you just sort of prepare your body for the experience, and you prepare the experience for your body.
Okay, thank you so much.
When I have to, I'm a very healthy person, thank you God. But yearly we have to go in for those physicals, and as you get older, they expect them more. And so when they do, they always draw blood and stuff. So I always ask the angels to be with the person drawing the blood and make it painless. Use a little needle and all this stuff. So I have the angels get them ready for the experience, and so I don't have to go through it. I mean, I go through it, but I don't have to, experience the worst of it. I make it easy. But we have that right. It's our lives. It's our experience. We can make it any way we want.
And
Thank you.
You're welcome.
do you want to just explain what this sprinkle is for some of the new people?
Well, I think by now they have an idea. It's just a little mini session. I just tap into your energy, and then whatever comes through. Because when I go into your energy, it's everything that you've ever done since you left the creator source. So there's a lot of information, just like an encyclopedia. So by asking a question, we narrow it down to a very little bit that I, have to access. So and your name has tremendous energy of your essence in it. And so, in fact, the ancient Egyptians used to believe that someone had your name, they had control over you. So they would have lots of names, and they would be called a name that wasn't their name. So they would trick the forces that were against them. And Isis was known as the person who knew the names. And so Isis was magic because she knew everybody's name, even if it was hidden. So the name is very, very powerful and very, very important. So by saying your name, I get the biggest hit on your energy. And then I just go into that energy. And then by asking a question, I access whatever you need or whatever. So that's it.
Perfect. Al is next.
Who?
Hi, it's
okay.
Laura. LD is my nickname.
Oh, okay.
So my question is about my future
All right.
husband.
First of all, you just say your name again, because Stacy was talking, and let me just make sure I get a real clear shot. So good.
It's Laura.
Okay, thank you.
And my question is my future husband and combined family.
All right, they were playing with a lot of other energies. And so what would be best for that information is to say his name. And we're not going to get the families. We're just going to do the guy, your future husband. Just say his first name and then think about him. Imagine him in your head, because that'll bring his energy in. And then I can get a comparison of the two, but I'll only get what is needed for your success in this relationship, what you need to know, because to read his energy would be a violation. He hasn't given me permission, so I don't want to go into his energy, but I can look at the relationship between the two. That makes sense?
It does, but there is no him right now.
Oh, so you've been ghosted and you haven't even met him. Okay. So you're wanting to know if there's someone out there.
Well, I don't want to talk like that. I want to know that it's going to happen, right?
No, it doesn't necessarily
address
have
your
to happen.
question.
Because many light workers have come into this life solitary for a reason. Relationships take a lot of energy. If you want one that works, you got to invest a lot of time into the process. And so a lot of light workers have come in and not having a relationship, not having a partner, because they want to devote all their time to their current mission. Just like people who are very married to their job will oftentimes not choose a partner because they don't want to be distracted from their purpose. And so light workers, so there's a reason why our generations are changing. So not necessarily, there doesn't have to be.
Okay, I guess I'll restate the question, right?
All right, I'm going to stop you for a second. What I would like you to do is the same thing I told whoever it was I told. Send me your picture, just to your face, looking at the camera, nobody else, no animals, no people, because that will change the energy. Send that to me, and then ask the question about a partner next week so I can tap into the energy of the photo, and then we can do that. So that'll be next week. I'll follow up with that one. Is there another question you have now? And the reason I said I don't want to give you a quick answer that may not be accurate. So
yeah, no problem. Career, definitely career.
Well, I don't think you're having any trouble with career, are you?
Yeah, I am. I'm not working at the moment, so.
All right. Well, let me just tell you what's in your energy, and then you can do with it. You're very, very decisive. You're very, very authoritative. We could even take it close enough to say that you're kind of bossy, that you're a natural leader. You've been a leader in many lifetimes. It's very hard for you not to be in charge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you want a job that's going to recognize and respect that leadership. You've often taken jobs where you're sort of subservient, not, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you're not the one giving orders, and that's
Understood.
Very uncomfortable for you. It's not a pleasant place. Your soul doesn't sing when you have to listen to directions and have someone tell you something that may not be as smart as you, may not be capable as you. You need to look for a position, even if it's a smaller position, where you are the person of authority, and you need to recognize that. And whatever the field is, spend a week becoming an expert in it. You're very bright. You pick up things very quickly. So just literally Google the hell out of whatever the job is that you want, so you become the authority. And that you could, and not because of the interview or anything else is going to need that. You need to recognize that you have all the knowledge you need to be the boss. You tend not to apply for those positions because you don't think you're ready. You don't think you're capable. You don't think you're blah, blah, blah. So by making yourself the authority on a limited topic, you'll feel more in charge of that process, and you'll feel more comfortable applying for that job. Does that make sense?
It does.
The job that you apply for is not the job that makes your soul sing. The job that you that would make your soul sing, you don't apply for because you think you're not good enough, fast enough, knowledgeable enough, experienced enough, and you give yourself a whole bunch of words. You need to cut the crap. Give yourself a little boost, and the best way to boost the self-esteem is to become a little expert on a topic. Just become an expert, and your body goes, oh man, I'm so good. And so you then become an expert on that related topic, and then apply for the job that you would not normally have applied for. But you have to be in charge. You just don't do well. And it's when we talked earlier on the call about being a leader, leadership, you have that natural leadership. I'm sure a lot of people go, oh, you look familiar to you. Do you get that a lot? And I'm getting chills as I say this.
Say that again.
Do you get people a lot saying, you look familiar? Do I know you from something?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's because you've been big boss, big kahuna, and I'm getting chills all over in many lifetimes. And so even though they don't recognize this face, they recognize the soul presence. And so you have to know that you've done it all, you've been it all, you can do it now. And you don't need to have a degree or 10 years experience or whatever. Just apply for it and go in there feeling good, feeling like the expert, and then be comfortable that you can do anything. Because this mismatch isn't working for you.
Right.
Somebody suggested Mafioso, which he's very in tune. He says that start a trucking company, buy 2 trucks, and hire 2 drivers.
And that's a perfect example of someone giving you a suggestion, but you get to choose what you do.
Right.
So anyway, but you need to stop holding yourself back.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next, Stacy. Who's next?
Josie.
Huh?
Josie?
Who?
Josie.
Josie. Why am I not surprised?
Ready again?
Okay. Get your question tight.
I don't
You
know.
tend to get lots of words, and so say your name and then ask your question.
Okay, my name is Josephine, but people call me Josie because that's what I prefer. And my question is about my soul's work. Like
I don't
know,
understand what your soul's work. What do you mean by that? What's
well, you had told me, because I don't know if you remember, that I would be coming up against a lot of people that are going to be, I don't know, being not mean to me, but I guess we're going to have different opinions. And I can't even remember exact words what you said to me. But
when I'm doing these things, I'm in pure consciousnly. I have no.
Yeah,
I know. I say in a week, and I won't have any clue of what I said. So
I know.
You have to remember it.
It didn't sound like very much fun to me. So I'm like, let's see.
Okay. Well, first of all, the overall big job of our soul is just to evolve, to be the best we can be. And that's the main purpose. When you become a very evolved beacon of light and love and just zap love to everyone and everything, that's our final destination. It's not about being or doing, it's about being. And as we do that, we will always hit opposition. Opposition helps us build our strength. It's like shadow boxing. You know, boxers will get in the ring with people just to have them punch at you, just so that you can learn to avoid their punches. And so as we evolve, we'll always have opposition. It builds strength. That which you oppose, you know, is very intentional for your own growth. So because you'll have opposition in your life isn't a bad thing. It's just a natural thing. Right now on the planet, in a very big way, we can clearly see the people who are spiritually aligned and the people who aren't. You know, for instance, and again, everything is political now, so I don't mean it to be political, but when Hillary Clinton lost, those people went into fight and meanness and whatever we could do to shut these people up and destroy them and impeach Trump. They fought because that was the mindset. Opposition, good versus bad, right versus wrong, us versus them. It was all the duality, the third dimensional fight. If you notice this time, when the Trump team lost and the Biden team got in there, it was like a collective inhale and send love. You're not hearing, at least I'm not, the fighting, the protesting, the he's not our president, all the other things that they're, you know, because in the fifth dimensional, high fourth into fifth, it's about oneness. We're all one. So Biden is as much a part of us as Trump is. But we're in a different state than the team that lost last time. So the opposition that we get in life is about allowing us to experience and grow and be. So it's not necessarily a detrimental thing. And I bet there's not a person on this call that hasn't had a massive amount of opposition in their life, because that helps us grow and recognize and see the changes that we're making in our lives.
Okay, because yeah, I thought that you had said that, or I asked that would be the people that I would be working with were going to be like that.
All right. First of all, whatever I said then was true for
Okay.
them based on the.
All right.
I can't go back and, as they say in the South, they can't chew that cud again. It's done gone. So I can't respond to what I said. Whatever I said, it came with
Okay.
love and truth for the moment.
Okay.
So you'll have to think of a new question next time in order to ask.
Yes, I will. Oh.
Okay. All right. Who's next, Stace?
Esme, and then Christina.
Okay. And that'll be the end for this tonight. So who is it? Is the next one?
Esme, she's always on Instagram, but she's joined.
Is that Esmeralda? Okay. So Esmeralda, you're going to need to say your name and then ask your question. And we'll welcome you on our Zoom place.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, sorry. My name's Esmeralda, and I was wondering.
First of all, you say that so pretty.
Esmeralda.
Yeah,
Some people-
that's just so different than what I said. So thank
Some
you.
people can't roll R's, so I just say Esmeralda. I was just
Okay.
wondering if you have any messages for me or anything in the Akashic records. I can't pronounce that.
Well, see, that's like saying what's in the encyclopedia for me. It's very open-ended for me. It's much more challenging. But just as first impression from your energy, just as your name sort of rolled and whirls, your energy is very soft and flowing, which would tell me that you're very comfortable with who you are and what you're going through, and that life flows for you. You don't give it a lot of opposition. You don't give it a lot of resistance. You just flow with it, which is a very high spiritual place to be. Surrender is very important, and many people are still learning the lessons of surrender, and you do it so well. You just flow. Do you sing?
No.
You could. You've got a wonderful, your energy is very wonderful as it comes through your voice. And so anything that you do with your voice could be very important. I don't know if you do, what you do, but singing, reciting, reading would be very helpful for putting that ripple of your energy into the world. I've often said that we're like a huge salad bowl, and each of us are different ingredients. You're the ranch dressing. You're just the creamy thing that ties it all together. So use your voice as much as possible, because it is a wonderful energy you're putting into the universe with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing I would like to add too, because she joins in Instagram, and she said how much she's shifted from just listening in every week.
Well, see, and that's another testament to her flowing. She wouldn't resist truth. She would just flow with it. So I'm not surprised, because that's in her energy, that she just rolls with it. She just goes on. So thank you for joining us. Tell your friends.
Last year was very like a eye opener for me. I just kind of learned to allow the world to whatever's meant for me is for me, and whatever's not is not. So I'm working on just going with the flow, I guess.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. The surrender and allowing are the same meanings to me. And so allowing things, and that's the best place to be for all of us, because nobody can predict what's going to happen on this planet. Nobody. And we have to be really willing to shift on a dime, go to the next level, the next phase and whatnot. And you've done that beautifully. You could teach other people how to do that. You might want to think about what you've done that's helped you be willing to shift and flow and allow. And then next week you can do a little mini book report on it. 3 or 4 minutes of telling us what kinds of things you've done to help yourself learn to relax and flow with it, because many people are working on that lesson. Would you do that for us?
I will do my best.
That's the perfect answer. It's all we want. Thank you. And again,
Thank
it's using your voice. You're going to find that you have lots more talent with your voice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Christina.
Christina. Okay.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
My name is Christina, and I would like to know what the energies for the rest of the winter are.
We're talking about for you now, not the world. Well, where I saw, or, again, I'm making this stuff up because we don't have words, and I just using words to try and explain what I'm experiencing, which is not an easy thing to do for me. But where Esmeralda's energy was very billowy, very flowy, very allowing, your energy is very pointed. You're going to find some purposes, some things that you're going to do this next period of time through the winter, and I'd say that's through mid-March. You're going to get tasks and you're going to carry them out and do them. It's almost like a spoke on a wheel. You're going to go from the inside into the outer world. So as you get an idea, you're going to actualize it. Oftentimes you will get an idea and you'll second guess, you'll think about it, you'll doubt yourself, you'll pull back, you'll resist in different ways and say, oh, I must be imagining that. I can't do that. That's too hard. I'm not strong enough. I don't have enough resources, blah, blah, blah. And you make all these second guesses to keep yourself from doing it. So it stays in the center, in the hub, in the inner. And this winter, you're going to go, oh, hell with it. I'm going to do it. And so you're going to take these things that come to you and then like a spoke on a wheel, go to the outer world, and you're going to have much more intentionality. You're going to have much more confidence. You're going to have much more action. And after the first one of finishing it, you're going to go, that wasn't hard. And then you're going to do the next and next and next. And so this winter is going to be challenging you to burst through from the inner to the outer. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just add something that for me is just like, okay. So Mafioso, who also does readings and stuff too, he asked, is she some kind of author? Christina might want to write a book for kids. So I just felt like that was important to share from our conversations. So
I love children. I do. I love kids. I really do.
Okay.
But yes, it does. And Heather, you've given me so much confidence and so many tools that I feel like, I can do anything because of these conversations. And I appreciate both of you and Stacy, so much.
Well, thank you. And recognize that I speak my truth. And oftentimes I have offended people. I've said things that people go, oh, I can't believe she's saying that. But I've spoken my truth. And in speaking my truth, other people feel that and are empowered to speak their truth. In this time period, we're being programmed to be politically correct, which means distort, lie, soften, mute. And when we do that, we're telling other people they have to do it as well. They have to lie, cheat, manipulate, lower their things, not to say these certain things. And so each of us are a model in our world. The more we speak truth, accept the consequences. I mean, there are times that people have fallen out of my life because they didn't like what I said. That's the price I pay. But I would not be true to spirit if I changed the message, changed the information I'm getting. I've mentioned several times, but I want to mention this time, and those who know me know I never recommend other people's books. Mine are so good. Why would I want to? But this is a book by Andy Andrews called How Do You Kill 11 Million People? And it is a phenomenal book, especially for this period of time. And I highly recommend people read it because the gist of the story, and it's about the Holocaust. How did the Nazis manipulate and kill 11 million Jews and other riffraff at the time, how did they get them to cooperate? And it's the story of what we're living here. You just need to do this because it's for your own good. It's for the safety. It's, you know, we're your friends. Just do it this way. And so I highly recommend that you read. It's a very easy read book. The first part of the book, this first part is the book. And then the second part of the book is all of the, I should say many of the sacred documents that founded this country and based on truth. And bottom line is they got them to do what they wanted to do by lying to them, and that we can't ever accept lies. And if you lie yourself, you will not be able to recognize a lie. So it's really important that you speak your truth 100% of the time, and then you also recognize and stand in opposition to any lies that you may be given. And what I do is I send them love, and then ask to know truth, and then what I'm supposed to do with the things. I had one of my foster daughters who was an incredibly successful, competent liar. She could say anything, and you think, well, wow, that's really good. So I asked her, I said, you know, when you're lying, how do you want me to act? Do you want me to pretend that I'm accepting it? Or do you want me to tell you that I recognize you're lying? How do you want me to handle when you're lying? She was like, and so there were times that she'd tell me a story, and I said, okay, now we both know that's not the truth. What do you want me to say to that thing? I said, do you want to just take a breath and say it again and be in truth? And so I called her on it, but I did it in a way where it helped her move through it. But we are being manipulated through untruths. And this book is so powerful. I love it. And I love Andy Andrews. So I do recommend that you buy it, even though I didn't write it.
And that's the same author from The Butterfly Effect, of how a butterfly spreads its wings and flies. It literally affects weather patterns around the world.
The ripples. And that's really what we're doing too. We're all creating ripples that go in and around the universe and make a difference. So that's a good place to end this conversation. And if there's anybody else that wants to be on the list for next week, they can write down their name. And Stacy may or may not remember for next week, so it's her job to remember. So Alicia, you always have interesting things to add. Is there anything you want to share to our discussion before we hang up?
No, I've just been listening all evening. I've got tooth problems.
Oh goodness.
So,
well, teeth are about decisions, so be aware.
yeah, I made some decisions for 2 caps. so my mouth is sore.
All right, well,
keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, the Native Americans believe that those who are the quietest often have the most profound information to share, and that information, knowledge, wisdom was power. So I always want to make sure everybody has a chance to add to the collective wisdom of our group. So thank you for doing that, Alicia. Stacy, anything you want to share before I do our closing?
No, I just wanted to remind everybody, this is every Thursday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have, starting on Sundays, the same time. This will be our 3rd week in joining, and they're all free. And it is Spirituality Meets Politics. And that is open in the beginning. We go live just to kind of remind people we're going live, and for the intentions part, and then for the conversation we go privately onto Zoom so we can talk about all the things that prevent us from being banned elsewhere. So if you are watching wherever you are, thank you so much for being a part of this. Together we shift the collective, and it is such a gift to be able to join each and every one of you and see you expand and get more in tune with your amazingness, and living in that is such a gift. And your smiles and energy is such a just wonderful to be able to share with and meet up every week. So thank you. If you are wherever you are, feel free to again go to the YouTube channel, is Stacy Harder, and you can also find Mom's First Book read there chapter by chapter by me. These conversations, if you want to replay them or share them, please do. I got hearts. I love that. Yay. Her heart's feeling explosive. I love this. So yeah, just thank you so much for joining. The Spirituality Meets Politics is a different Zoom, as is Cosmic Conversations. Because we don't know when we're going to be banned for speaking up or not, I do suggest, if you're watching this, to take a screenshot so you can get the numbers. If we can't go live other places, we will still go live on our Zoom. So our Zoom, you can always access us. You can always go to heatherharder.com, staceyharder.com. And if you're in my Diving Into Your Divinity class, I will see you this Sunday for our week 2 of out of 4 weeks, which I am blessed. And if you're in my Diving Into Your I see that. That's no, it's fine. It's just a delay. There's a couple of you on here that are in my class, so I will look forward to seeing you Sunday, and then hopefully you can join in.
And if you'd like to join my coaching mentoring group for the month of February, just email me or contact me and I'll give you more information about it. But it really is sort of like the sprinkles expanded, so that we'll be looking at the issues that you're dealing with and then how you can best get through them. Whatever you want to know, we'll be going through to help you. But it really is just about assisting you to be your best, and whatever that means. So with that, last chance for questions, comment. Anybody want to give a wrap up, a comment for today? And when I do the closing, I get off the line. So anybody want to add a comment about their experience today? I see Christina just unmuted herself. So
I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't get to before. Thank you so much. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anybody else? Add a comment? Anything from the other realms? Okay, unmute yourself, Josie. Josie wants to make a comment.
Mute.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks. You guys are great. And I could talk to you for days, probably months. So I always look forward to talking to you.
And that's the nice thing about talking to your spirit guides. They're there to listen all day, every day. No fees, no bills.
Talk
And the
to
best,
them.
yeah, and the best advice you can ever get is from your own team. So with that, let us close in the beauty of peace and understanding. Let us stay open to the gentle whispers of the universe and her teachings. Let love keep us warm, safe, and confident. Assist us to remember the gentle way, the compassionate path, the empowered highway of courage, and our commitment to our road of service. Remind us to stay open to the blessings and joy of our sacred journey and all those in the non-physical who assist us in every way. Until next time, I remain your committed friend and send you loads of love, light, and laughter until next we meet.
Okay. Love you guys. See you Sunday. Bye.
See you Sunday.
Sunday.
Thank you very much for wherever you're joining.